Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry for the delay. Mike, I think we're ready to begin.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Monday, March 8th, Board of Control meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning. Calling the roll for the March 8th Board of Control meeting. It is 11:06. Dale Miller,
Here.
Ann Baker, Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones,
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish,
Here?
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer,
Here.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Lenora Lockett.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to make a motion for the minutes of March 1st. I make a motion to approve those minutes. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller, I believe. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay, I hear no public comment. Let's move on to contracts and awards, please.
First item is a tabled item BC 2021-80 Sheriff's Department submitting an amendment to a contract with Black Creek Integrated Systems Corporation for maintenance and support of multi-component security systems at the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Justice Center located at 9300 Quincy Avenue, Cleveland, for the period January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2020, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $160,867. This is Laura Sims from the Sheriff's Department. We're requesting approval for this contract. It'll take us through the end of the year. We have it set up so that the payments are quarterly payments. The Juvenile Justice Center has gone out for a competitive award for a new, this system is the video surveillance and the detention management system combined. So they went out for bid on that. The final selection was made a couple weeks ago, and it's been moved to OPD for processing. And this will be able to keep the current system going while they get it worked out to get the new system implemented. We did it in quarterly installments this time instead of an annual payment. So if the installation takes less time than the end of the year, then we can terminate the contract sooner.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this item from the board?
Yes, this is Dale. And how much does the contract amount compare with what we paid in the previous year?
Councilman Miller, I can send that to you. I did respond to that and had provided a breakdown by every year for the amounts that were there. And this one is slightly higher by about $8,000.
And how much does the cost of the new system compare with the cost of the current system?
Well, it's actually, that would kind of like be comparing apples and oranges, because the new system, actually there's going to be a major overhaul to it. So I know with the new contract, they're going to be going in and putting in all new equipment. I know upgrading some servers and a bunch of other, things that are going to go along with that. And then maintenance is built into that as well. So this contract is strictly for maintenance. The other one has a bunch of other things wrapped into it. So I'm not sure how that got pulled out. And I haven't seen, a breakdown of the costs of the new contract. I don't even know who's been actually selected yet. So I don't know how that would compare.
Okay. When you find out, would you let me know?
The contract is going to be handled by the Juvenile Justice Center. And so I don't really have anything to do with that. But what I can do is I will send an email to Jay Leeworthy. He's the one who's heading it up for the JJC, and copy you on it and let him know that you're interested in how it's moving forward so that he can update you as it moves forward, because he's the one who's heading that contract. Would that be acceptable?
Yes, that would be acceptable. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Ian Baker, just for clarification. So Black Creek Integrated Systems no longer will be our vendor after this expires, this amendment?
I don't know. Black Creek and another vendor, there were two of them that submitted proposals for this RFP. And so and again, I don't know who won that RFP. So it's possible, but I don't know for sure.
All right, I would be interested to know.
Okay, I'll make sure that Jay, that I copy you on that as well, so that Jay can fill you in.
And we are certain that that process is complete. We are certain that there will be no more amendments. Is that, you say that?
Well,
much?
for the Black Creek one, yes, there will definitely be no more amendments, because the selection for the new contract for juvenile justice has been made. It's been sent to OPD, but as far as I know, they haven't released it yet because of paperwork and processing. And that, whatever happens with that contract, that will take the place of this. So we will not be extending it again.
Okay, it seems odd not to know who the new supplier or the same supplier is at a time that we're running out the amendments and we know that it's been approved. Does that seem odd to you, Mike, or no? Mr. Chambers?
Yes and no, yeah. Are you comfortable moving forward still, or?
I mean, if you are, I mean, we're extending this for another, what is it, 6 months?
To the end of the year,
Oh, to the end of the year.
Yes, for the end of the year.
yeah.
And I think regardless, they're going to need time with the new system.
I think with both proposals, it's going to be a minimum of a 6 to 8 month transition period between the two systems. And I
Right.
think the only reason that they haven't come out with this yet is it is a large contract, and I think that they just want to make sure all the paperwork is done properly before they make any kind of announcement.
Right. So either way they go, they're going to need something in place.
Okay, I mean, it's not the way we usually like to do it. It's not only, we not only not know who the vendor is, but it's coming to us late. And we say there's no amendment, but we don't really know if the vendor is in place yet, given that not all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Well, I think, Councilman Baker, it's just a matter of doing the final negotiations with the vendor over the contract to make sure that that's going to be in place. Both of the people who put in applications for this had to put a bid bond in on it to make sure that that they weren't just putting it in and would pull out at the last minute as well. So I don't anticipate that we're going to have an issue with that. I think more of an issue is that the person or whatever vendor doesn't get it. We need to make sure everything's in place, because I think that there could be questions about why one didn't get it over the other.
Okay, well, Mike, if you're okay with it, I will certainly go along. It just isn't the usual of what we.
I am, Nan.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-99, Department of Public Works, submitting an amendment to a contract with Burgess and Neifel Incorporated for engineering services for the replacement of various Rockside Road bridges in the City of Independence for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $237,185.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this amendment is to a design contract with Burgess and Nyepel. We had designed Rockside Road bridges with hopes of getting NOACA funds actually a few years ago. They didn't come in that tip, so we kind of shelved this project. And then recently they had been put on the new tip out in 2024. So we need to start re-engaging the consultant to kind of dust off the plans, update the environmental. There's new specifications that have come out since the time they originally completed the plans. And so that's what this amendment is for. I know we got some questions from council ahead of time, and I was a little confused on the question, but then I went and looked at the briefing, and I think the issue is our briefing memo had some bad information. We normally do a part 1, part 2 on bridges, because when you first start the project, you don't know if you're going to replace it or not. So that was part 1. Part 2, design the project. This is amendment number 2, so kind of a part 3. And that, like I described, it is to sort of revamp the plans because the project got shelved until the funding was available. So that's why this is coming as an amendment. It's typically not needed, but because we did not have construction funding and we had to put them on the shelf for a little bit, now we have to update the plans in order to be able to sell the project.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, item's approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-100, Department of Information Technology submitting an amendment to a contract with Microsoft Corporation for Microsoft Premier Training and Support Services for the period November 1st, 2017 through December 5th, 2020, to extend the time period to December 5th, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $330,064.
Good morning, Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This is a request to amend the Microsoft Premier Unified Support Agreement that we have directly with Microsoft for another year. This agreement allows the IT department to access some of Microsoft's top engineers for support in infrastructure and security. We've had this agreement for a number of years. And this particular agreement is about $46,000 more than previous support. But in the last year, we've increased the amount of licenses that we need to support. So the amount grew with the number of licensing and different kinds of licensing that the department has been putting in use.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Are there any questions on this item from the board? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
May I ask just a question, Mike? I'm sorry.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Trying to read and so it looks like the delay that we have, and I appreciate the backup in explanation, but it doesn't look like there's any solution. It says in the backup that this will probably happen again. Is there anything that you
I'm
can-
sorry, let me just clarify. Sometimes when we're dealing with corporations, it does take a while back and forth with some of the paperwork. If their law department has to look, get permission to fill out the documentation. Plus on our end, it was getting access, getting the appropriate people to put it into the system. Unfortunately, all of these things put together extends the time. It should definitely not have taken as much time as it took for this one, unfortunately. And we're definitely trying to do better with making sure that we are notifying vendors well before well before the contracts expire. One of the good tools that we have as part of ERP is there is an alert process in the contracts management portion that does give us some more leeway. I think it's 150 days and also 180 days before the item expires. So that way we have that notification so we can start collecting documentation earlier so as to avoid this moving forward.
Well, that's good to hear about ERP and its alert system, and it's an aid to you. I'm glad to hear that. I just am curious as to why you said, though, in your answer, we will likely experience delays.
Well, we just know that we have a couple of other ones coming up, and they have to go through law departments on the vendors end. And so we just wanted to let you know that we're hoping we don't have such a delay. 3 months is not an acceptable delay, but we wanted to make sure that we addressed it head on. We hope not to have such a delay in the future, but we wanted to make sure that we addressed it.
Okay. Do you feel you have the right procedures in place? I mean, hoping is one thing, but having a sound policy. Probably better.
Definitely, with the advent of the alert system and the system, which has been tremendously helpful, because before we were using spreadsheets, which has no alert process to it. Also, with our team, we had some retirements too, so we're getting new team members in that can support and have more people that are able to process this in a more timely fashion. So we are looking at only an improvement moving forward. We definitely don't want to have many late contracts moving forward, where it can be avoided as much as possible.
All right. Thank you, Janelle, for the explanation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other final questions from the board? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-101, Department of Workforce Development, submitting an amendment to a contract with Stella Maris Incorporated for the provision of one peer specialist to assist with disaster relief employment services in connection with the Ohio Means Jobs Cleveland, Cuyahoga County National Health Emergency Disaster Recovery National Dislocated Worker Grant Program for the period December 9th, 2019 through December 31st, 2020, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $20,079.16.
Good morning, Frank Brickner from the Department of Workforce Development, Ohio Means Jobs. We are seeking approval to extend this contract through June 30th. We got this federal grant funneled through the state of Ohio to address the opioid epidemic across the state. One of the allowable uses of these contract dollars is to fund new positions to combat the opioid epidemic. One of the allowable uses is to fund new positions. We are funding one at Stella Maris, a peer support position in the detention center where no insurance dollars are available. This is late. We acknowledge that there are a couple reasons. Our grant initially allowed only a limited period of time where we could do disaster relief through the end of the year. We, along with other areas in the state, asked for an extension of that and were approved. That was late last year. Well, we were armed with the extension, but we needed more money, and we needed more money to be identified from other areas in the state that weren't spending money. The state identified in January some additional dollars for us. Thus, we're coming after the fact. We're armed with the additional dollars, and we're looking to amend the contract right now. And this is the first. There are going to be 2 additional contracts. We're doing this in subsequent agendas.
Thank you, Frank. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
I have a question, Dan Baker.
Yes, please. Sure.
Well, the additional staff member that we hired has not been paid for the time that they've been there in January and February.
Well, they are on Stella Maris's payroll. They're an employee of Stella Maris.
Okay.
Stella Maris has been paying them, and we have communicated to them the hope of amending this agreement. You know, all of these agencies came to us saying, yeah, if we can extend this during COVID, you know, we're nonprofit organizations, we sure could use some additional funds during this period. We always were upfront with them saying there's no guarantee that the amendment will be approved. We need more money, and then we have to go to the board for approval. But yes, they've been on Stella Maris's payroll and they have been getting paid.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks for the clarification. The two additional employees that you think Stella Maris may be adding, is that where the next two will be going also?
No, what one will be, we'll be amending an existing agreement with Edna House and St. Vincent, who brought on employees. We have existing contracts that, you know, we're going to be looking for amending those. It's just existing contracts that we have right now.
And
We don't have enough money to subsidize additional positions beyond that.
Edna House and St. Vincent are
Yes.
already employing these people again, and we will be reimbursing them. Is that the same?
Correct.
All right. Well, it's a great program. Thank you for your work on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to see employees not being paid. Being late really does throw that into a little bit of chaos, but thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second Van Baker.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-102, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on a purchase order to CDW Government in the amount not to exceed $53,803.80 to upgrade City of Cleveland Emergency Operations Center video wall operating system.
Good morning. This is Leslie White with the Department of Public Safety. This project is to upgrade the video wall operating system at the City of Cleveland's Emergency Operations Center. The project will remove an old controller and replace it with a new controller that manages all of the EOC video screens. It will also control the video and audio in 2 other rooms. This project was competitively bid, and we're looking to award to the lowest cost vendor. This project is being funded by the FY17 UASI grant, and with it being grant related, we sent the award down to Ohio EMA, and they have also approved the award.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Macular. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-103, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 4788, which will result in an award recommendation to Motorola Solutions Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $3,150 to uninstall 2 dispatch consoles in preparation for transfer to the City of East Cleveland, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Leslie White again with Public Safety. As mentioned at a Board of Control meeting in January, East Cleveland is going to be taking over their dispatch service again as of May 1st this year. So this PO covers the cost of uninstalling 2 dispatch consoles that are going to be transferred to them. East Cleveland is responsible for the transport and the installation. And as Sharon said, this was submitted as an exemption related to 911 procurement in the ORC.
Okay, Leslie, thank you again. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second. This is
Seconded by
Dale.
Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-104, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Cleveland Clergy Alliance for Community Outreach Navigator Services to seniors and adults with disabilities within faith-based communities throughout Cuyahoga County for the period February 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020, to extend the time period to December 30th, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
Good morning. Paul Porter, Health and Human Services on behalf of the Division of Senior and Adult Services. This is an amendment to our existing contract with the Cleveland Clergy Alliance to extend their services through 2021. This was included in the budget for 2021, and we made some modifications to the scope of work for this program to include the Cleveland Clergy Alliance providing some education and seminars on COVID-19 testing and vaccine distribution. They've kind of shifted some of their work to address the pandemic, while at the same time still doing some of the stuff that was a primary focus, including those information and referral services, and specifically helping folks connect with insurance coverage, which has become even more important during the pandemic. And the Biden administration has reopened the Affordable Care Act exchanges so folks can continue to sign up outside the typical eligibility window.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and I have a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
The stimulus package that's about to pass the Congress in the next couple of days, do you think it's possible that we might be able to use that money to cover this contract?
I'm not sure. We've typically covered this contract through Health and Human Services levy funding since its inception in 2019. Due to the modifications that we're making to the scope and having some of the work address the pandemic, that might be a possibility. And what we've done for some other similar contracts is look at whether they could be eligible or not once the official language is signed into law. And then that's something that we could change, based on what we're able to submit for reimbursement under the stimulus package. So that's something we can look into for sure.
Okay, well, I would just like to recommend that you keep it on your radar screen. Of course, we don't know yet what the details are as to what the eligibility for the money is going to be. So my other question is that are we correct that if these services are needed beyond the end of 2021, that we're going to put it out for competitive bid rather than using a direct contract?
Correct. This is the final amendment year we anticipate. So this contract started in February of 2019. It was extended for both 20, and now we're seeking an amendment for extension through 21. And our goal would be that if we want to continue to get these services, an RFP would be completed later this year. And I do want to note, Sharon, I double checked the amendment language in the briefing memo. It should be through 12/31 of 21, not 12/30. I think there might be a typographical error on the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Okay, any further questions on this item? Okay, well, I'll make a motion to amend it, to approve this as amended with the 12/31 date. Do I have a second?
I'll second Nan Baker.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Moving on to our consent agenda.
Yes, moving on to consent items, BC 2021-105 through 106.
Take a moment. Does anybody have any questions on today's consent agenda, or do you need more time? No. Okay, hearing none then, I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, it's approved. Moving on to public comment. At this time, is there any public comment? Okay, hearing no public comment, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Not sure who that was. Lee? Seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. I thought this worked pretty well.
Yes.
What do you
Thank
guys
you.
think? A little better?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get better as we go, but thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.